And I said, we endured it. So when it came to the point where Rosa refused to give up her seat and was arrested, Rosa didn't know what the end result would be as far as that was concerned, but she went on and accepted. And when a person that was on the bus, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't get the straightening about that, a person that was on the bus that saw her being arrested rode to that destination, and when they got off the bus, they went to tell Mr. Nixon that Rosa had been arrested, and that's how the news got out. When Mr. Nixon got the news, he called down to the police headquarters to ask about it. They would not give him any information whatsoever, as more than on his business. Mr. Clifford Durr, a white lawyer, the only one that was in nowhere to be found here in our community, that had been trying to work with us with different things. When he was contacted by Mr. Nixon and said that Rosa had been arrested and he couldn't find out nothing, then Mr. Durr called the police headquarters, and he was being a white lawyer, he was able to get the information about her being arrested. So then Mr. Nixon, Mr. Durr, and his wife, Mrs. Durr, who was a staunch worker with the movement and whatever, went down to the jail, and they got her, bond her out of jail. And that night is when they sit down and decided if it would be a test case. Because I had, those of you who are aware of this, I can't go suing somebody about something unless I agree. Because if I do, then they can turn around and sue me. I mean, it's going to be a mess. So when they talked to Rosa and they got her to consent that it could be a test case, and that's when they started picking up the telephone and calling the different leaders to tell them what had happened. My phone at that time, I had one phone that was on the table right there. And when I answered that phone that night, I read about 10 or 11 o'clock. I don't tell what time it was because I didn't look at no clock. And Mr. Nixon, when I answered the phone, he said, Nixon. I said, yeah. He said, they have arrested the wrong woman now. And he said, why have they said the wrong woman? 2 other people had been arrested before Rosa was arrested by the same thing, not giving up that seat on the bus for a white passenger. So when the word started getting out, that's how it started to spread out. This was on a Thursday. From Thursday to Monday night, a mass meeting was organized and everything. Martin Luther King spoke at this mass meeting. He was made the leader for the movement at that particular mass meeting. And they said, why Dr. King? And there were several reasons, as to my knowledge of why it was Dr. King. Number one, he was a new minister in Montgomery, pastor of Lex Avenue Baptist Church. When people had heard him to speak, including Rosa Parks and I, we saw something in him that was a little bit different from the average person. And I'm not going to say the average leader, I would just say the average person. Because his acknowledging that he was the pastor of Lex Avenue Baptist Church called our attention to his speech and his response to being presented. And I touched Rosa, I said, Rosa, he's something else. And we both agreed. Not ever dreaming that a movement would have started, because at that particular, that was not a part of it. But going back to the part of the movement, so after Mrs. Robinson, who was a teacher with Alabama State, she and some more of our women had organized a black women political council, because of the fact they have the white political organization here, and we couldn't join. They said you could join, and then it couldn't have 2 blacks, so we organized a black political council. And in this council was part of the people, and Ms. Robinson worked at Alabama State, and she had access to, at that particular time, before the copy machine, and she got, they had this organization that we couldn't get in there, legal women voters, to be a part of that part of our political in the community. And they had this council, and Joanne Robinson was the person with Alabama State that spearheaded getting out flyers, just like I got this invitation for a birthday party. Got out flyers to tell the people what had happened. And a mass meeting was called for that Monday night, December 5th, 1955.
Sharp. You go, girl, as the young folks can say.
It was called that, and that's when Dr. King was elected.